Heineken Silver. It's what your daddy's balls taste like, I think. Is that what I'm supposed to say?
That's what I've been told.
You know, I just insulted us big time right there. It's what your daddy's balls taste like, and yet we're drinking it?
Yeah.
Daddy, is this what your balls taste like?
I mean, how many daddy balls have you tasted, though?
That's a good question. You know what? Down below here on this video, which, by the way, I haven't said this to Chris yet. Our last video, we had it on my original channel. And this one, we'll also do a little teaser on my original channel. And if you want to watch the rest of it after about 10 minutes, you're going to have to go over our new channel. Meet us, of course, in the Man Cave podcast. That's right. Just give you a little bit more of a taste. That's right. Heineken Silver.
I'd like to plug Manscaped as well. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to taste daddy's balls.
We need to talk about your balls. Are they smooth or covered in bits of annoying fluff? These are my balls.
So down there below in the comments section, what does your daddy's balls taste like? Not a good way to promote our new YouTube channel.
No.
But then again, I could be wrong. I've always been wrong.
I mean, I don't think Manscaped is going to like that. And probably Heineken don't want dad's balls.
Are your balls itching way too much? And how does they get now? Maybe that's what they want. They want some honesty. I don't even know what the hell it's all about.
See, I mean, now you're never going to drink it again without thinking about testicles.
It is Father's Day weekend.
See? See, the universe, everything it's one big circle. It's all connected.
Yes. This all being said, hello, everyone out there that's watching and listening. Of course, if you are watching, yes, it is here. That's right. That's that guy that you stumble across occasionally. And of course, with Christopher Webb himself. Yes, we will be going over to our other channels. So I already stated earlier, if you want to watch the rest of this podcast, you'll have to go there probably in about, I don't know, give or take a few minutes. Because I know Chris and we were talking about something earlier, and it has to do with the original Halloween and the coveralls, the colors. So if you're into that sort of thing, are you into coveralls? Are you into coveralls, Chris?
Fuck yeah.
Oh,
it really locks in the flavor of my balls.
I want to say, now that looks brown. Are my coveralls brown, or are they?
See those?
Come on,
that bottle looks spruce green to me.
Spruce green. Well, we'll have to debate that over on Meet Us in the Man Cave, and of course, you can listen to this wonderful conversation over on Apple, iHeart, Podbeam, and all the other ones that'll eventually allow us to be on there, of course.
I'm going to keep pushing the ball content. I mean, it works.
Are you a complete loser? Well, go open a can of Meet Us in the Man Cave beer. It friggin' tastes awesome. Drink responsibly. Only available at Bubba. A little teaser about what this channel, what it's about, this podcast, horror, cars, music, random shit. Since this particular YouTube channel is pretty much, I know I'm wearing Friday the 13th. It's probably shocking the hell out of a lot of you. And even though this is a Thursday podcast, I'm just preparing for tomorrow. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, yeah. Halloween. I think I'll talk about Halloween once again. And coveralls. Chris, you said I feel like I'm repeating myself right now, but what I wanted to bring up about Halloween, and I want your thoughts on this, Chris. Throughout the years, I have heard from so many people that there was John Carpenter that played the Shape, It was, of course, Nick Castle that played the Shape. It was Deborah Hill that played the Shape. It was that other guy that played the Shape. And it was that other guy that played the Shape. And, of course, Tommy Lee Wallace.
There you go.
I'm always hearing different individuals that played the Shape through different individuals. What about you? What are your thoughts on this? Is it kind of like, whatever, I don't care, or take it away? I'm curious to what you think about the subject matter, or do you even care at all?
For me, I think maybe there's a reason that when you watch the credits, it's just known as The Shape. It was played by so many different characters, and they all had the different takes on it. They all gave a portion of themselves to that role that they were playing. I mean, I don't think any one of them can stake claim. Of course, we all have our favorite, and we all love Mr. Nick Castle for what he did for his walk and all his little nuances that he brought to the head tilt and all the other fun things that maybe whether John Carpenter suggested it or not is of course in there as well. But of course he put on the mask as well. Maybe it's just a bunch of kids making a movie for almost peanuts in Hollywood, having fun, having the time of their lives, getting high, and just enjoying themselves. Maybe it's not as serious as we like to make it out to be. Maybe it's not Mr. Tony Moran that, thinks he is Michael Myers. Like, there was so many people that contributed to Michael Myers and making that film what it was that it should be shared by all, I feel.
Chris, when we were talking about music recently, I feel like I just try to find a way to bring up the subject matter and you just knock it out of the park every damn time. I mean, it's just, this is why I the real reason why I wanted you to start a podcast, because I'm the idiot and you explain things that are just like, wow, dude, that's heavy and makes so much sense.
Don't listen to him, folks. When the camera's off, he's a scholar. He's going miles above. Nonsense. I want to hear your take on it, though.
I love yours. I mean, it's perfect. I mean, I'm going to try my best not to say this too much in the future, because I know I've said enough in the past, but I do love keeping it simple. Mm-hmm. And you pretty much described it as they were kids. They were having fun with it, and they kept it simple. And that's why we fell in love with it.
Yeah.
They had written ideas. John knew what he was wanting to do. He knew how he wanted to direct this film. Deborah knew how she was going to produce and also write this film. They knew what they wanted to do, and they kept it simple. And I never really thought of it that way. And I'm going to say something, and I'm going to let you either elaborate on it or whatever. Cons. You've gone to them. I've gone to them. Mm. Or even when you watch them on YouTube, and when it's ever, I'm going to use Tom Lee Wallace and Nick Castle, because I'm pretty much talking about John Carpenter's Halloween here. It seems like whenever they're up on there and the panels are asked, they always seem to have more simple responses. They don't make a big deal out of what us fans love. And I mean, granted, it's obvious they appreciate that we love it so much, because we, the fans, I think, are the ones that brings the magic to the film because of our imagination. And thankfully, John and the rest of the crew allowed us to use our imagination when it came to a Halloween, the original John Carpenter's Halloween.
Exactly.
And yet, Tom Lee Wallace, yes, I am so thankful for, John gave him the concept of how he wanted the mask, and we all know the history. It didn't cost much. He didn't do much. But yet, let's face it, that's been the iconic mask for all mask collectors out there for over 40 years now. And Nick Castle, whenever he's asked directions, it's like he's always, he respects the role. He respects what he did, but he never makes it out to be more than what it was. And I know I started off with the whole concept of so many people throughout the years, whether it's fans or others, it's just amazing how so many people said it was either 5, 4, 3, or 2 people that played the Shape, Michael Myers. And I don't know. I know we're kind of going off subject here on that, or at least in my head we are.
Let's really analyze. I mean, we do that way too much, but let's really analyze the fact that, yeah, they're so nonchalant and they're cool about it because none of them ever thought this would be what it is. None of them ever thought we'd be sitting in our basements going over and fantasizing and working on and getting every little detail down to this mask. I mean, they sprayed a mask, they threw it on, they created a movie, they had fun. I mean, it was a short shoot. Just all the things that they've already told us. I mean, it's what we love about it, but it's like we don't really hear it. We think there must be so much behind it. You know, and maybe there just wasn't. Maybe it was lightning in a bottle.
You know, I talked about this before. It's been a few years, 2 years at that. The damn coveralls, that's another topic. What color was it? But if you guys want to hear Chris and I's opinions or thoughts, and trust me, the way Chris knocks it out of the park, I'm sure you would love to hear his thoughts on that, because I'm going to end it here on the bar downstairs, and I want to just elaborate the rest of it over there. I'll meet us, you know, in the man cave. Horror, cars, music, and some random shit. Are you getting sick and tired of always losing at hide and go seek? Well, go open a can of Meet Us in the Man Cave beer. It friggin' tastes awesome. Drink responsibly. Only available at Bubba. And now we're over here at the other YouTube channel. And if you've been watching us on this channel, you're probably like, wait a minute, I've been here the whole time. Why did I want to go over to his original channel? It sucked. Well, I'm glad you decided to I'm trying to figure out to work in the movie magic right now. I'm just glad you were here from the beginning.
They are inside the Flash movie right now. We're jumping timelines.
The Ultra Universe or whatever it's called. I don't know. But yeah, I don't want to jump off subject too much here. Those damn coveralls, the colors, spruce green, navy blue, frilly pink, polka dot blue.
Right.
All of the above. Chris, I want to know your thoughts, your feelings and beliefs, or does it even friggin' matter? I mean, could have been the lighting, the way it was filmed, the way it was shot.
No, you know what? I think it's the same concept. They were under budget. They were under a time constraint. I think they grabbed what they needed to grab and they went with it. I think, you know, some scenes you may see spruce green. Some scenes you may see a navy blue. They get weathered. I think it just really came down to what they had to accomplish that day, what scene they had to knock out, and they knocked it out. It's like looking at those masks. I mean, we have so many H1 masks over there. We have so many H1 masks over there because what I'm doing is I'm trying to capture a certain scene with each mask, because every scene, whether it be the lighting, whether it be the weathering, whether it be all the stuff that a certain horn that came out of the hair a certain way, like all the things that we look at, because it was doing so many different things. It was different masks. It was made up differently. It's something that we love, but we pick it apart to the point where I don't know, I'm a victim of it as myself, because obviously I have all those masks, and I get a lot of people that say, isn't that the same mask? And I'm like, no. No, it's not the same mask. Like, this mask is supposed to nail the hallway scene. This mask is supposed to nail the balcony scene. This mask is supposed to nail the phone scene. This mask is supposed to, we go down these rabbit holes because it's something that we love so much, and we built it up in our heads so much that we kind of defeat ourselves with it. So the coverall thing, man, I think it was both.
once again, boom, knock it out of the park. One thing I've also thought about, and I'm sure Chris is as intelligent as you are, you probably thought about this too. Let's take Tommy Lee Wallace and Nick Castle. Okay.
Yep.
Maybe one. They look like today at their age, if they're standing next to each other, they're the same height. I could be wrong. I've never technically seen them stand next to one another. But you've cosplayed Myers. I myself, when I used to be in much better shape, I think a lot of Meyer fans put on those coveralls, that mask. Let's face it, it's not the most comfortable thing going up your crotch. So what I think about, just like elaborating on what you were telling us there, and it just makes sense. Small budget. In fact, if I remember, well, I believe Dick Warlock made it more clear about how he went out and purchased his own coveralls, et cetera, et cetera. But, and obviously that's for Halloween too. Duh. We know Scott. We know who he was. But I'm just assuming that Tommy Lee Wallace, he had his pair of coveralls that he was wearing, maybe that he purchased, and then Nick Castle. They both had their own coveralls. I mean, especially when we take the closet scene towards the end there, as we all know, so many fans out there. And if you haven't, spoiler alert, you learned something new, but I seriously doubt we're spoiling anything here.
Yeah.
Obviously, when Michael is busting into the closet where Jamie is down there and trying to get the coat hanger, as Tommy Lee, that was Tommy Lee Wallace, because he was more or less the set director. He knew exactly how to break the closet and all that. And, that was his thing. And he's wearing the mask. He's playing the shape then. So why on earth they're done with that. And then obviously they probably didn't shoot everything, the dialogue, as you see it. But it seems to me like from seeing enough photos throughout the year, I just can't see Tommy Lee. Okay, we're done with this. Okay, Nick, you're going to be the next scene. Let's say it is in order. Well, Tommy's got to take off the coveralls and then hand him over to Nick, because we all know there was 3 masks. So it's not like they, you know what I mean? So that's my assumption.
Yeah.
Tommy had coveralls, his own, and so did Nick. So that's possibly why us fans throughout the years, and I don't want to go down, because obviously there's some artists out there that if you want some coveralls to look authentic, they do amazing jobs with those things. I mean, if you follow on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, they're just amazing through H1 to obviously to the latest trilogy. I just think that's what it was. They had 2 different coveralls. They weren't exactly the same color. And they were close enough, and they're like,
yeah.
John had enough faith, in Dean Cuddy and all that when they were obviously shooting 35 millimeter with a Panavision or Panorama. And it was going to be mostly, Michael was basically showed at nighttime anyways. I mean, dear Lord. Here you have John Carpenter that didn't worry about, or he was like, what it is when cigarette smoke is getting in the scene, those little, I think that's what it was. They both had their own coveralls and they weren't exactly the same color.
And that's fair. I mean, that's not out of the question at all. I mean, if I was doing closet scene, you were behind me, you were filming or whatever, I wouldn't pass you my coveralls. That's fair. It would be like, hey, I'm going to the house. I'm going to go take a shower. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, logistically, that makes perfect sense. Like, it's not. I've never worked on a movie. I don't know. Could be talking out of my ass, but I feel the same as you do. I mean,
with a small budget too.
Yeah, they were kids, dude. They were having fun. Could you imagine? I'd be having the time of my life there. I would be partying every night. Be a blast.
Yeah. I talked about this, or I brought this up with you before personally. Obviously, the last episode when I talked about The Flash and all that, and of course, everybody that's even seen the trailers or maybe the movie now is, Michael Keaton's has returned as Batman. Michael Keaton was obviously in the Marvel when he's playing the character. I know in the comic book, but when the Spider-Man, the latest ones, when Michael Keaton is wearing those coveralls. When in the first Spider-Man movie, when I see him wearing those coveralls, I'm like, who would play an excellent Michael Myers is Michael Keaton. because he fits those coveralls just the way Nick Castle did in '78.
Mr. Batman.
Every time I see that scene with him wearing them, I think, man, he'd make an excellent Myers. Elliot makes a damn good Batman.
That was Myers for me. I mean, a smaller guy, not hulking like Jason, that was what set him apart for me. Like,
yeah,
he's just a stealthy, small, could be mistaken as a normal human, but he's supernatural, and you don't know why. He's evil incarnate. And that's what set him apart for me. Like, I love... Okay, we're getting off in crazy territory now. I love Tyler
It's
Mane.
Halloween. The people here are wanting Halloween stuff. So.
I love Tyler Mane. I love, I love the hulking Myers. I absolutely love George P. Wilbur. If I could have met anybody at a con other than who I've already met, I wish I could have met George P. He was great. I love that guy. When I think of Myers, it's just, he's this unassuming villain. He's just a normal guy put on a mask, and that's what made him. There was no rhyme, reason. There was nothing behind him. There was no explaining him. It was just, he was evil.
And they should have kept it that way. And that's been my argument. Not that it has been an argument, but they should have kept Michael simple. The boogeyman, the shape, do not tell me what he's about, what his origin is. Just keep it simple.
Right.
But yet we're all guilty of fantasizing about, okay, well, it came, because Lord knows I have written down some stuff for an idea video, a Jordan Peele from Us. But if I ever do that video, I'll share it on my original YouTube channel. But I forget what the hell I was going to say now. It's all Halloween related.
We get off on
yeah.
on
I just this is just me. I always will appreciate every actor, stunt individual. I just call them actors. Every Myers out there that had the opportunity to play the role. They've been nothing but respectful towards the fans, and they've always seemed to be the ones that just appreciate the hell out of that character. So I want to make sure I give all of my respects to every single individuals out there that's played that role.
Yes.
But it always goes back from me to Nick Castle. I'm not trying to put him on a pedestal. But when I see Michael Myers, I just see his dance, his swayness, his body. Michael Jordan was the epitome in the NBA for so many years. When you thought of dear Lord, to this very day, there's Air Jordan's icon.
Yeah.
He fit the role the way he wore his uniforms. If I could be like Mike, sort of thing.
Yep.
That's the same for me through my eyes. When I see Michael Myers, I just see Nick Castle fitting that mask in the coveralls, and just his flow.
It's just the swift,
elegant, and beautiful.
It's just a swift movement, and it's just he just glides. It's hard to. Probably James has come closest to it, but even then, man. You just.
I love his zombie.
Just give credit where it's due, man. It's Nick, man.
No one really that zombie walk when Jamie's walking out to the hallway, and you got Nick. He's just kind of walking like this.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna get you, bitch.
He takes his time. That RoboCop roll up. It's just everything about it. It's just like,
oh, you done fucked up now.
Yeah. It was just a beautiful orchestra. It was dirty dancing for a horror film. And one thing, I hope that, obviously we're going to have another Terrorizer. Art the Clown. Don't ever tell us what Art the Clown is. Don't tell us where he came from, his origins. It works. Learn from the Halloween mistakes. And I'm not putting down the films that people love. I just personally always believe if they would have kept it simple, kept him as the boogeyman, kept him a mystery, it would have continued to make Michael horrifying. And Art the Clown's the same way. Don't ever tell us why he is the way that he is.
No.
His background, I don't want to know.
And that's what made Strangers work so well for me.
That's a Manson family, but absolutely.
I mean,
I didn't mean to ruin it for you, but I love that. I hate to say it because it's so fucking disturbing from history, but it was obviously inspired by the Manson, family.
I can see that.
But The Strangers, yeah, it was kick ass.
No, it's just, it is what it is. Leave it out there. Just leave it out there. Leave it theater of the mind. Just leave it alone. Put it out there for the world to, because 99% of everything we do is just interpretation. You can't tell another person what to interpret. You got to just leave it out there.
Speaking of leaving it out there, I know I mentioned cons, and then probably have to end it after this. I'm not going to name any names, Chris. And obviously, you're meeting your own heroes sometimes is not a good thing.
No.
I'm thankful that when I met Nick Castle, my experience was pleasant, respectful. He treated me kind. And there's others, as we all know, that are not necessarily. And I try to respect, put myself in their shoes. They're sitting there for hours and hours, probably being asked the same damn questions over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Some of these people that we go see at these cons, this is their livelihood. This is their job now. This is their breadwinner.
Sure.
I can't tell them how to behave. I guess what I'm trying to get at, without naming any names, have you had any bad experiences with certain actors that you felt that was just a complete, and I'll hit the mute button if you want to explain.
I'm going to only say one. And don't want to do any names. Don't want to do anything such as that. The only thing I can say is, according to the character they portrayed and their age that they were playing it, I honestly thought a lot of them and looked up to them, and meeting them was kind of a different experience. But as you said, I can't tell these people, this is their livelihood, this is their life. I can't tell them that. But it was meeting the other actors that I have met and realizing how gracious they are and how accepting and loving of the Halloween community that they are. I was disappointed is a better word, I guess. I'm not mad. It's not my job to tell anybody how to behave or anything such as that. God, somebody should tell me how to behave half the time. But it was a thing that disappointed me, and I just want to keep it at that. I think
it's funny when I muted my mic, I'm thinking, oh my God, did I just put Chris on the spot? But I think anybody that's watching this or listening to us right now, if you have gone to cons, you've had experienced that as well. And I guess my whole point of this, obviously con season is upon us. If you yourself get to be a part of the 45th anniversary out there in Southern Cal, I guess I'm thinking it's in Pasadena.
Pasadena, yeah.
Yeah. And us being here in Ohio, it's not in the cards for me to make it out there. I wish I could, but I guess what I'm trying to get at is and I'm not really necessarily speaking for Chris right now. If you are going to be there, and if you are not had a chance to meet one of your personal heroes, just try to remember that maybe let's say you meet them at 4 p.m. and you yourself have been there for 6 hours. Granted, you're on a high because you're so excited. You're walking around. Maybe you've had lunch. You don't have thousands of people approaching you. Mm-hmm. Just try to keep that in mind. If you meet your hero and that person is not exactly pleasant with you, maybe they're just having a bad day. Yeah. And the only reason I'm not trying to defend that person, I'm just trying to say maybe, just maybe, you get a second chance to meet that person and you'll have a different experience. And I just been hearing that subject matter here more lately when it comes to cons with some of these actors. I just try to put myself in their shoes, and sadly, some of them, that's just in their nature.
No, it's fair.
They're just there to get a buck. I hate to say it.
Yeah. I mean, it's fair to say that. I mean, I don't want to put any negative energy out there and ruin anybody's reputation, but it was just I don't even want to say it was negative. I mean, it was just disappointing.
We've talked about that obviously privately, and yeah, something tells me that that's just in that person's, that's their character,
It was a policy. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
It was a policy that they had in place.
But like you said, was it during, I cannot wait until we get out of this. It was during the pandemic times. I'm so sick of that, but that's our life.
I think it was during the C word, but
yeah.
So I don't know if it was that a policy relating to the pandemic or whatever, but I'm not going to hold any ill will, I mean,
yeah.
It was disappointing to see from someone that I thought was super down to earth.
Yeah. And if you are going to these cons dressed up cosplay, then by all means, if you're going to do it, do it. But if you're going to stand in line to get an autograph or a signature, maybe you don't want to try to creep out that person that you're getting an autograph from.
Almost I didn't do that.
Yeah. Because I've been hearing that too, how some of these individuals will dress up as their favorite Myers, from whatever film it is, and they just kind of stand there and they try to play out a scene with some of their heroes. And that could be a little disturbing and creepy. It's like, then again, I would just think about that too. Cause this day and age with how things are,
God,
I would definitely think twice about role playing because I think we hear way too much negativity on the news about what happens. Because I know I haven't heard anything bad lately. Granted, I don't watch the news, but I think you know what I'm getting at. So just think 3 steps ahead. If you're dressing up as your favorite Myers, if you're going to get an autograph, maybe not wear the mask the whole entire time while you're standing in line or something. I feel like I'm about ready to lose my voice. It's from all that. I don't know if I told you about this, Chris. No. Here lately, I've been performing a lot at operas, and it's getting to me, as you can probably tell.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
When's the mixtape drop?
Well, as soon as I can bake those tapes in the oven in order to get them to reproduce, then I'll get them out there to the public.
Change your name to Octavius?
Octavius Smith.
Octavius Smith.
That being said, I think this is a good time to end this podcast. I mean, I know there's going to be, I know there's some other stories that I need to tell you about, but I just, my voice is killing me because, man, hitting those high notes and low ceilings, it's a bitch.
I think you were screaming from all the Flash scenes that you loved.
Yes, that could be it too. I don't know why I said about my, your
opera days.
Yeah, my opera days. Oh no. Just try to figure out a way to end this podcast because I don't know. I just all of a sudden I feel